Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Ragnarok here with part 133 of my Warhammer 2 Karl Franz Mortal Empires campaign on legendary difficulty. Right, I apologize guys for not getting this video up sooner. I've just been really struggling with staying focused with the channel. Number of reasons for that, but the main one, I don't know, I don't want to make a big deal about this, but been dealing with a recent bout of depression a little bit, and it's definitely started to affect the channel to some extent. So yeah, just trying to get through it, trying to work through it and do my best to continue putting up the content, but I don't know, it's tough. I don't want that sort of mood to transfer into the videos and whatnot. I shouldn't even really be mentioning it, but yeah, it is what it is, and just want to be open with you guys and be honest about what's going on. And yeah, that's about it. Anyway, we'll continue on through the campaign here and see what we can get done. Not sure if we should switch these crossbows out for handgunners. I just really prefer crossbows, but handguns would probably be a lot more effective. Maybe not quite as useful, but
praise be to Sigmar.
Yeah, these guys, the missile damage, only four of that is armor piercing. Right. Anyway, I think pretty much at the end of the turn here, we're positioned to hit Sarl encampment, and hopefully we can make amends for the mess that I made there the last time, losing a number of troops.
Cleanse the Empire.
And getting defeated quite soundly previous time we tried to take the settlement.
The winds blow strong.
Ooh, what do we want to do here? We go with the growth for now. I'll help with the most, I think. Actually, down here, Kislev. We'll wait till next turn to build this up, but in the meantime, we don't need the growth here any longer. We don't need the replenishment to fight chaos anymore. So it should be all set there. I mean, I forgot about that guy. Son of a bitch. Very well. While this end turn cracks on, let's read a little bit more Sword of Justice. I forgot to put my glasses on, so the reading might be a little bit more struggled than usual. But yeah, anyway, here we go. So, as he neared the exit, he caught sight of a lone figure waiting for him just inside the porch. The shape was unmistakable. Years of fighting alongside a man made his armored profile almost as familiar as one's own. Lefrich von Skar, preceptor of the 9th Company of the Reichsguard, one of his most trusted men. Honest, capable, utterly brutal, just as he preferred his officers. Lord Helberg, Skar said, keeping his voice deferentially low. Even in whispers, the words echoed eerily in the vaults of the chapel. My apologies for disturbing your prayers. It's fine. Come outside. Skar opened the gigantic brass-bound doors of the chapel for the marshal, and warm sunlight flooded into the shadowy nave. 2 men stepped through it. They were high up on the north side of the city. The courtyard before the east front of the chapel offered a sweeping panorama. Around them, the greater mass of Nuln spread out in all its confused, humbled majesty. The sound of the forges, ever present even during the night hours, filled the air. Huge columns of black smoke rose into the summer sky from several quarters. The buildings were stained with soot. Below the vantage point, the river Wraight ran dark and polluted. It would take miles before the filth of the forges was washed from its water again. Such things mattered not. Nuln had not been built for beauty. The hammers of the blacksmiths fashioned weapons for the defense of the Empire. That was the city's function, the greatest foundry and workshop of war west of the world's edge mountains. Alborg loved it. "So what is it, Skar?" he asked, retrieving the sheathed Klingreich from the chapel warden and donning the ancient woundfang. "A messenger, my lord," said the grizzled preceptor. His face was heavily scarred, as befitted his name. He lost an eye at the siege of Uruk 5 years ago, and a leather patch made him look half virile. He had an angular face, and his long hair hung dark and lank about it. There wasn't an inch of fat on his severe features. Everything was taut, muscular, spare. "From Averheim." "Ah," said Helborg, ghost of a smile on his lips. "Ludwig's little project. How goes it for my unsmiling brother?" "Not well, I fear. The steward has requested aid. The factions for electorship have resorted to arms." "Ooh, they've ended their military access pact with us." Yeah, this is the prelude to war, I fear. "Factions for the electorship have resorted to arms. It doesn't have enough men to keep order." Helborg frowned. "How many men does he need? He has Schwarzhelm. That ought to be enough." Lord Schwarzhelm isn't in the city." "Not in the city? Where is he then?" "In the east. The message says no more than that." Helborg felt a sudden qualm of unease. That sounded wrong. Schwarzhelm was a stickler for the law. Given orders, he stuck to them until the bitter end. Such unbending devotion was what made him so formidable. It was also what made him such a pain in the arse. The fact that he'd left his duty for some other purpose was out of character, and that alone was a cause for worry. "The Reichsguard in readiness to march. Always, my lord. And I'll study this message myself. I don't like the implication in it." "Yes, my lord. The message bearer is still lodged at the garrison. I'll summon him to your chambers." "Do it." Helborg's voice was as it always was when dealing with subordinates, clipped, gruff, solid, but his mood of contentment had been punctured. Something was wrong in Averheim. Deep within, like a fleck of rust amidst the smooth workings of a cannon bearing, a germ of suspicion had lodged. Schwarzhelm had been behaving oddly recently. Maybe the man's judgment was failing. As Skar departed, Helborg looked out over the city again. The sun was high in the sky. Its warmth bathed the spires of Nuln generously. Manufactories were working at full tilt, hammering blades and gun workings for the war in the north. He would have spent weeks in the city, ordering the production to best effect. The need for arms had never been greater. Helborg shook his head. Whatever the messenger reported, his instinct told him his services would be called on. His work in Nuln would be cut short. His devotions would have to wait, as it ever did. Duty called for the Reichsguard. Right, that ends the chapter. Wow, Nagaron destroyed. Look at that. Holy smokes. That is something else. Assault unit success. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Okay. Pulling his back. Good, good. Alright, cool. Take a look here. Situation. Wow, the high elves have really smashed dark elves. Just the guys up here. What's the Deadwood Sentinels that are left? Yeah, well, we've allied with a big chunk of the New World, so that might save us from having to go over there. In the meantime, we've got work to do here in Norskip.
It is time.
And finish these guys off. Finally, it's been a real pain since pretty much the very beginning of the campaign. How's this guy? Level
The
40.
Empire.
11% chance. That's not so
I
good.
trust no man.
71% chance.
Judgment is death. Show me the accused.
Good job. Alright. None of that stuff really matters. I don't think he's ever going to see a battlefield in this
They
campaign.
will be judged.
Have you come around this way? We'll
Forward.
make sure that there's nothing over here.
They will be
And you,
judged.
sir, start
Step
moving
to it.
this way.
Let us forge our
Have him
faith.
attached to the army. Probably better for us to come this way
Yes,
through
son
the
of
water,
Field of faith.
because
What orders? True
we should.
servant of Sigmar.
I was gonna say we should get a little bit of
Protector
replenishment. We're
of the
not, but at least we're not getting
Ever onward.
not taking attrition this way. Actually,
Champion of the faith.
you know what? Why don't we just
I will do anything for Sigmar.
up over here at Dietershof and
Servant of the
just to get a little bit of replenishment, so we're at full strength, and then go finish off the Ice Drake Fjord. Not that we need the replenishment desperately, but definitely help things out a little bit. I want to end up losing yet another unit of demigriffs.
Yes, to unite the provinces.
I
I will marshal the
actually
men.
would prefer you
Yes,
to do the attack if you
sound
can
that.
reach it.
To war! Fight for our nation! To arms!
Alright, this time we should have
Is it
no
time?
trouble with this.
On march!
Got a lot better troops this time around.
As is my
and
right by
also got
Sigmar's crown.
the Emperor here. We'll probably even auto-resolve this. I believe the last time we were here we had the option to auto-resolve. But I'm pretty sure we'll end up losing one of those artillery units if we auto-resolve. In any case, I don't really anticipate any difficulty here. Got them outnumbered and outgunned. And with Franz here, we've got them overpowered as well, so if we lose this time around, it's probably a good time to give up Total War. I don't know, this is where we positioned last time. It didn't work out so well. I'm gonna position way back here. I'm not gonna use the high ground this time.
Ready for war.
Just gonna use these hills to help protect our flanks. And you know what? Line up like that. And you two. Box ourselves in here, and then we'll let friends and company
Ready to smite.
come in here. Fill in the gaps.
The Empire endures!
Cross
ready, General! Hellstorm rocket battery! Form a ring of steel! To battle! At
Two
speed!
warrior priests.
Sigmar calls! Reichsguard!
A Reichsguard. High ground up here.
Yes, my lord! Swords! Shalia protects us! Taking position! The Temple of Ragnarok! For the Warhammer!
What we got here? Some warhounds.
Hellstorm!
Actually, just line up there
Moving
and
out,
get some
sir!
shots in.
Glory to the Empire! Reichsguard Knights! Standing by!
Just need to take
For
that
Sigmar!
down.
Fire! No! Take position!
Alright, stay away from those Marauder champions for now.
Date order! Reichsguard Knights!
Get over that way. What are we doing here?
See to it! Battle
Alright,
awaits!
let's take out throw. Oh, that's not throw, that's throw.
We're ready!
You guys really need to get over here.
We are Sigmar's heirs! Charge! Roar! Greet! Ready! Charge! Prepare for combat! Yes, General! Take the ground!
Alright, circle around with you.
At speed! Fleet!
Should delete that last already. Let's have you guys
Now!
come up
At
here,
once!
deal with them.
Sigmar calls!
They seem to be going
I
fine.
command here! It will be done!
Over here? Yeah, the numbers
Charge!
definitely making a huge difference here this time around. Not to mention the quality. We've got much better troops than we did previously. Actually, I'm gonna bring you guys back. They're gonna have to come back around this way.
We are Sigmar's heirs! The Empire endures!
Alright, well. Not too bad. I think we got out of that relatively unscathed. Much different result than the previous time we tried to take this settlement. Though we're facing off almost a full stack army that was sitting inside there, and between that and the garrison, a little bit too much for us. Why don't we... You know, we'll just occupy. I don't want to knock it down too many levels. These things take so long to build up. Oh, okay, we got our armor destiny back.
Summon the Elector Counts!
what does bronze
I
have
am
for
Prince
armor
and
presently?
Emperor.
Okay, so for destiny as well. Alright, so what are we gonna build here? We'll go with this, this, and one of these. And hopefully that we can eventually wrestle the public order under control.
Bring me to my men.
We'll keep you in camp for now, even though I'd like you to get a little bit closer to this.
I will marshal the
I'd
men.
prefer to get the
Yes.
little bit of replenishment, especially for these units. Alright, finish off quartermaster. Perfect. Save us a little bit of income. Should go untainted or public order. We'll go untainted for now. I don't know, though +1 untainted does not seem
Champion of the faith.
like much at all.
True servant of Sigmar.
And I'm gonna swap you
Sigmarite
to
Archlector.
move to there. You head up to there.
I will go.
Rebellion should happen here at Krakadrak. Keeping him there is gonna
Archlector.
negate the
Protector of the weak.
public order. The public order penalty. What I'm trying to say. Holy smokes. Alright, let's build. Oh, son of a gun. I don't have enough to build it. We are so close. Let's see if friends give us any cash.
Now that you are here, I will hear your words. Understood.
Alright, thank you very much. What does this do? +10 public order, load recruit rank +2, +50% from all buildings in this province. So that'll just a little bonus on income, though there's nothing crazy that we're making money from here. Income generated is only 120, 500. Yeah. Actually, probably not really worth it. Anyway, we'll build it anyway. Put the roads there, and then probably we'll put a public order building there. So we don't have to worry about this province. Alright, you sir,
Of the faith.
back to Grunberg. We're going to start recruiting
serve Sigmar.
some great swords next turn.
Yes, my lord.
Yeah, we'll keep Grunwald here for now. Trying to think what our best plan of action against the dwarves is. I mean, we've got a really long frontier against them. I mean, we really need to finish up this war with Norska as quickly as possible and get Franz and company down here. What I'd really like to do is go straight for Karak, taking this province from them. will do quite a bit of damage to them. They're probably making a ton of money here, not to mention their best units are going to come out of this province. Though at this point in the game, though, they're probably... everything else is probably level 5 as well, so they're probably getting good recruitment pretty much from every province. But we'll need to take this. Looks like they're... oh man. Looks like they're preparing for war already. Yeah.
By Sigmar.
Might send Foucault down this way right away, just in case they start moving in, because we don't want to lose Drakenhof. That would be a disaster. Zufar to actually start getting the defenses built up down there. I feel like this area is going to be the most stressed at the beginning of the war with the dwarves.
Son of Sigmar, I am a soul keeper.
What brings you here?
Let us forge our fate.
Oh shit. Yeah, probably wanted to check one or two more things there before I hit the end turn, but what can you do? Alright, so here we go, chapter 12, Sword of Justice. So, Schwarzhelm and the Averheim garrison had reached the wide pasture lands east of Heidek. In the far distance, the World's Edge Mountains were just visible, jagged and low against the horizon. For miles around them, the undulating countryside ran unimpeded, lush and green under the ever-present sun. In the distance, warmth shimmered from the deep grass. The light was blinding from the honor guard's polished armor. The army had broken into a gallop. Schwarzhelm tensed in the saddle. He made a minute adjustment to his posture, eking out a fractional increase in speed from his charger. The knights on either side of him worked to keep up. He looked over his shoulder quickly. They were still in close formation. Kraus and his men in the front rank, the Averlanders behind. Some distance in their wake, hundreds of foot soldiers from Heidek streamed across the fields. All had weapons drawn, in combination with the elite guard at his disposal. He now had the tools he needed. More importantly, he had the will to use them. Turned back to the chase. Prey had been sighted. Like the predators of the wild, his army had responded to the quarry. Clods of turf flew from the horses' hooves as they accelerated into a fully fledged gallop. Lances were lowered as they charged. The warriors looked like they were wreathed in a halo of light. The heat was crippling. Schwarzhelm felt the sweat pool under his breastplate. He didn't care. For the first time in weeks he felt fantastic. This was what he was born to do. His face was twisted into a cry of pure, unbridled aggression. As he roared his fury, his knights bellowed their defiance alongside him. The crescendo of noise thrilled his heart. The orcs were running, lopping like animals across the grass. It was a large mob, but no match for his forces. The sun flashed from their armor as they went. They looked better equipped than usual. He thought he could make out straight swords and halberds amongst the ranks. That was more than rare. On either side of him, the knights moved expertly into formation. The honor guard were flawless, controlling their mighty war horses with almost unconscious ease. The Haverlanders, foot horsemen all, kept close behind. Lances extended, the cavalry formed a single sweeping row of steel. Now, only yards remained. The greenskins had been taken by surprise. The polluting stench rose over the pristine fields, wafted over the charging knights by the warm breeze. Some larger warriors turned and stood their ground. Silently, one by one, they were singled out by the knights. Near the center of the mob, a larger monster prepared to meet the assault. He had a near black hide, and his bodyguard were clad in what looked like plates of armor. Clearly the leader. "That one's mine!" roared Schwarzhelm. Hooves churned, the distance shrunk further, details came into focus. The final few yards vanished in a blur of speed. Schwarzhelm grasped his lance tightly and took aim. With a crash of metal, bone, hoof, and muscle, the knights crashed into the orc lines. The defense broke. Any pretense of formation was swept away with the first charge. Schwarzhelm's lance plunged into the breast of the foremost orc, lifting its mass of warrior clean from the ground before the shaft snapped. Blood sprayed into the air, sparkling like rubies in the sun. All along the line, the knights skithed their way through the green-skinned ranks, driving great wedges into them and throwing them into confusion. Schwarzhelm let the broken lance fall and pulled the Reichstell from its scabbard. As the metal withdrew, it seemed to shimmer with light. It knew it would taste blood. He pulled his stallion around, searching for the leader. The lumbering greenskin half-heartedly attempted to engage him. Schwarzhelm rode straight at it, his blade whirling. The warrior crumpled to the blood-soaked earth, spine severed. There were more behind him, dozens of them, fodder for his holy blade. "For Sigmar!" Schwarzhelm roared, feeling the coppery taste of blood in the air. "For Grunwald!" After weeks cooped up in the cesspit of Averheim, the sword of justice had been unleashed at last, and it felt good. Alright, we're going to stop there, because there's a little break in the text. I will, however, speed this up a little bit. Whatevs have actually pushed out of their forest a little bit, which I find is somewhat rare. Like early on, like the early builds of the game, the wood elves could sometimes get out of control. Negative growth, eh? All right, whatever. I will play through a little bit more of this, I think, and then call it a day. Probably go for another 10 minutes or so. So before I forget, let's start getting your troops recruited, sir. We are definitely going to need them.
Ordered to serve.
Start with the great swords and then probably going to be the crossbows. Does this give a bonus for... I thought maybe it might give a bonus for the handgunners, but I don't think so. You can actually get the handgunner. Oh, we could have just stayed put. Yeah, recruit the great swords. I think maybe we'll have Grunwald secure this area, this province. He should be okay to do it on his own. Garrison here isn't. They haven't built the additional forces there, so shouldn't have too much trouble with this province. And I think we'll send Hammer of Sigmar this way towards Karakharim or Karakharim. Yeah, it's gonna, man, it is a fucking wide frontier, that's for sure. Zufbar, let's start getting the defenses built here. Same thing with Drakenhof. Actually, let's hold up on Drakenhof here just for a second. See what else needs to be built. We do still have some economic type stuff to be built. I can actually turn this to tax rate here. Be okay. That for now. Damn, that's expensive. But building there.
Servant of the faith. true servant of Sigmar.
Alright, I'm gonna have you, sir,
Ever vigilant.
park right there for now.
I serve Sigmar.
And then clear up the rebellion after it happens, and then after that rebellion, we'll send him south towards... Actually build public order building there. And then here we'll probably build that. And then we'll just leave
Here to serve.
Elborg behind here to quell rebellions. We might even switch Helborg out for somebody who's
Ready to serve.
less experienced. I don't know if it's a great idea to send one of our least experienced generals down here to fight with the dwarves initially. Might be a bit of a
Awaiting orders.
bad idea. Fury. Fury as well.
Sigmarite Archlector.
Alright boys, let's
Honored to serve.
and make it over here to the Ice Drake Fjord.
Cast evil out. Sigmar is with us.
To be, you know what, because we're fighting in Norska and the replenishment is going to be really slow, we should just take our time to actually fight this battle so we don't take too much damage. Because we will get beat up pretty bad in the auto resolve with this, even though it was quite a bit in our favor.
Great cannon.
Cannon there,
For Heldenhammer!
cannon there.
We're Sigmar's heirs!
You guys can probably handle this on your own.
Demigryph Knights! Ready! Demigryph Knights!
Back you up with some demis just in case.
Ready for orders! For Heldenhammer!
I speak, you act. The Empire endures.
Wreathe them in flame! Demigryph Knights! Sigmar Exultant! Seething fire!
Other hunters.
Ready for war.
I speak, you act! Quick march! Eager for battle! Without delay! For the Empire!
I think I'm going to use the Empire captains. They're a little bit squishier.
Ready to serve! For Heldenhammer! I'll burn them!
Damn, I should have overcast that.
Burn everything! Ready! Ready! Sigmar! Charge! The Emperor!
There we go. Oh, very little damage there. That spell lasted a while. Dude, he actually got 186 kills there. And these guys racked up some kills pretty quick too. Let's occupy here. Alright, cool. Well, I'm gonna end it there, guys, because I want to upload this as quickly as possible since I'm definitely behind schedule here, and try and get this up for you as quickly as possible, and then record the next couple episodes in the series so that they're ready to go. Well, I want to thank you guys all for watching and stopping by. We should hopefully have enough movement to get there. Yeah, looks like we can do the attack on this. Next episode, we'll start things off with that, and Norska is almost under our control. So, or well, the Norscan territories are going to be a while before they're under our control, but Norska themselves, Wintertooth that is almost out of the game finally, and then we can focus on the wars to come, which is almost certainly going to be the dwarves. So look forward to that. Anyway, thank you once again for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Ragnarok signing out.